One detail that really stands out to me is this. Andrew reportedly shared certain text messages with federal authorities, saying he was concerned about them. And now, suddenly, new information is being passed to Candace from unexpected sources. Yeah, it's getting messy. But before we dive deeper, make sure you hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support and the community we're building here. Alright, let's get into it. Candace recently revealed something interesting. She explained that the push to investigate Andrew didn't come from where people were assuming. It wasn't Aubrey. According to her, the message actually came through a third party from Mikey McCoy. Now that raises a serious question. Why would Mikey tell her to look into Andrew? Think about it. At one point, Andrew himself was giving Candace information. He was basically her main source early on. But then things started to feel off. The more she looked into it, the more questions came up. Who really is Andrew? What connections does he have? And why does everything start to look shady the deeper you go? Meanwhile, the narrative being pushed is that everyone questioning this is just a conspiracy theorist. But here's the problem. No solid evidence has been provided to back those claims. And that's where things start to fall apart. Now here's something else that doesn't sit right with me. When exactly did Mikey reach out to Candace? Because if you remember, Mikey was publicly defending everything before. He was on shows, standing firm, saying no one was involved, and dismissing all the speculation. Then suddenly, he disappears. And later, he shows up again at an event, praising leadership like nothing ever happened. So what changed? Did something happen behind the scenes? Was there a fallout? Because situations like this usually follow a pattern. When pressure builds, people start protecting themselves. And when that happens, someone eventually talks. At first, I thought maybe Blake might speak out. But honestly, he doesn't seem like someone deeply involved. More like someone kept on the outside of the situation. And if that's true, then the real story is happening behind closed doors. Now back to Candace. If she's putting this information out publicly, chances are she has proof to back it up. And if that proof exists in writing, texts, emails, anything like that, then it's only a matter of time before it comes out. Because let's be real, in today's world, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. And people like Candace know that. So don't be surprised if receipts start dropping soon. Now, shifting gears, there was also a response on the Charlie Kirk show today. And let's just say they're not happy. Andrew fired back, basically saying he's done staying quiet. He even went as far as saying that if anyone comes after Erica, they'll have to go through him. Strong words. But honestly, are people really intimidated by that? I'll let you decide. Let's be honest for a second. Nobody is scared here. The way they're trying to act tough, it's just not landing. But anyway, let's actually listen to what they had to say because this is where things get interesting. So during the discussion, they basically start praising how they've finally decided to push back against Candace. The claim is that this is what Charlie would have done, that he wouldn't sit quietly while someone tries to damage the organization or go after Erica. And according to them, now it's time to fight back. But here's the part that really stood out. They bring up this idea that anyone suggesting Erica is involved in anything suspicious is essentially accusing her of something extreme. Their argument is simple. If you're saying there's a conspiracy, then you're directly blaming her. No gray area. No nuance. Just a hard line. Then they mention a message where Candace allegedly questioned someone before a meeting, asking a very serious and direct question about Erica. And that's being used as proof that this narrative exists. Now here's where Andrew steps in. He basically draws a line in the sand. He says if anyone comes after Erica, they'll have to go through him and the rest of the team. Strong statement, but let's think about it. Does that actually change anything? Because from the outside, it doesn't look like control. It looks like damage control. And then things take another turn. They start throwing around heavy accusations, claiming that critics are spreading lies, chasing clicks, and pretending to be close allies while secretly hating everything the organization stands for. That's a big claim. But again, the question is, where's the clarity? Where's the proof? Because calling people liars doesn't automatically make the concerns disappear. And honestly, bringing in unrelated labels and distractions doesn't strengthen the argument. It just muddies the waters. Now, let's talk about something else that stood out. They reference certain online figures as examples of strong defense. But if you've been following closely, you already know some of those same people have made very public mistakes that actually hurt credibility instead of helping it. So using them as your strongest example, that's questionable. Now back to the bigger issue. Notice what's missing here. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of strong language. But when it comes to the key points, like the alleged messages or Mikey's involvement, there's still no clear response. Nothing direct. And that silence, that's what people are paying attention to. Because if something like that isn't true, you'd expect an immediate and detailed denial. But so far, nothing. And that raises even more questions. What happens if proof actually comes out? What happens if those messages exist? Because if that's the case, then this entire situation could flip overnight. At the end of the day, trying to shut down criticism by sounding tough isn't going to stop this story from moving forward. That ship has already sailed. Now, it's just a matter of what comes out next. So, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the Mikey situation? Are you surprised? And how do you think Andrew is going to respond if more evidence drops? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.